In this video, I will explain the meaning of the verses of the second chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha Atha Srimad Bhagavad Gita Atha Dvitiyodhyayaha Sankhya Yogaha. The meaning of the chapter is Sankhya Yoga, that is this chapter. Sankhya means, actually it means the Sankhya, that is the number. The same name is given to the Kapilopadesha of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the Bhagavatam, Lord as Kapila Bhagavan explains about Purusha and Prakriti to his mother Devahuti. That Upadesha, that is Kapilopadesha, is also known as the Sankhya philosophy. But that is a philosophy, darshana. But this is yoga, this is Sankhya Yoga. Here in Bhagavad Gita, Sankhya means Atma Jnana. This is quite a very big chapter with 72 verses. And to the first 11 verse 10 verses, again Arjuna explains about his weakness of mind. And in that 2 verses will come that Lord Krishna will encourage him. Majority of the verses are about Atma Vidya. So that name Sankhya is given for this chapter. And here in Bhagavad Gita, Sankhya means it is Atma Jnana. And Lord Krishna explains in a very deep sense this Atma Vidya. From verse 11 to 30th verses, it is the essence of the Upanishads. You can say the cream of the Vedas from 11 to 30th verses mostly. All the chapters have Atma Jnana, that's sure, but these verses are the cream of the Vedas. Apart from this chapter also has many pravochaka vachanams, that is the words that lift up the mind. It also has many verses like this. It's a combination of this bit, but this name is given for this chapter just because it contains the cream of the Vedas, that is the Atma Jnana. In this chapter, Lord Krishna explains the human being, and by splitting him into two. The human being has two energies. One is the cosmic energy and the other is the infinite consciousness. This cosmic energy is the combination of the basic elements of this universe, that is the 5 basic elements. Prithvi, earth, Apa, water, Agni, fire, Vayu, air, and ether, Akasha, ether. So what he says is, whenever there is a combination of these 5 elements, or whatever combination it may be, it gradually goes into decay and then disintegrates. But these cosmic energies are based on the infinite consciousness, which in Vedantic term is said as Brahman in the universal concept and Atma from the individual concept. So this cosmic energy is based on the pure infinite consciousness, and that's why we all are aware this body is inert. Because it has an intelligence, it is based on the intelligence, we are intelligent, we are able to act. And he also introduced a concept called embodied soul, which is otherwise known as jiva. And this jiva is the mind plus the reflection of the infinite consciousness on the mind. Only the mind can get the reflection of the infinite consciousness because the mind is very subtle. More subtler than this is infinite consciousness. It is just the pure awareness. We cannot even think of it. Maybe we can know it theoretically, but it is very difficult to think of it. We have to experience it. The mind has the reflection of the pure, infinite, divine consciousness. Reflection means it has the thought of that infinite consciousness. That is the basic thought in the mind. Otherwise, the thoughts in the mind are also inert. Because of the presence of the thought of intelligence, this mind is based on it. When a child is born, when it is an infant, this thought of intelligence dominates in its mind. That's why we say that God and the baby are same. But when it grows up, because of its circumstances, mainly from the immediate family, and when it goes to school, from the society, teachers, slowly it gathers knowledge, information, it develops its own talent. Apart from it, it develops ego. And this basic thought of intelligence is hidden. And this thought of intelligence, which is otherwise known as the reflection of the infinite consciousness, and in pure Vedantic terms, it is known as Chittabhasa. It is hidden by all this external knowledge. And the intelligence goes into darkness. That's what has happened to all of us. Or otherwise, the pure human being is that pure infinite consciousness. The sages are that. That's why so much effort is taken to purify the mind, to realize our divine self. And this combination of mind plus that reflection, which is otherwise in pure Vedantic terms, it is known as Chittabhasa. This combination is called the Jiva, and it is based on the Atma, and otherwise known as Brahman. So when this body decays and disintegrates, that Jiva goes out of this body and it takes another form or another body. This mind, it has the impression of the ahankara, I consciousness. Only because of that, we feel that we are separate from this infinite consciousness. So it has the basic thought I, plus the impressions of our previous karmas are named as papa and punya. Along with it, it has the impressions of our present actions. So all this goes out of the body and it takes another form. So this is known as the transmigration of the soul. And this concept is very beautifully explained in this chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna just puts light on it and makes it very clear. No one may think, why is all this needed? What Lord Krishna says is, when a person knows about his pure nature, what is he? It's our right to know who we are. Okay, leave it. Apart from it, if we know who we are, we will be able to deal with the external situations in a proper manner. Otherwise, we cannot change the external situations or our external circumstances. The way we deal with the external situations or circumstances can be changed. Otherwise, when an unexpected situation comes, or when we see a person who has insulted in a previous time, all our mental strength and energy goes down, just like how it went down with Arjuna. So we may not be able to stand up to that situation. Apart from it, when we suppress our emotions, we all have emotions of our own. When we suppress our emotions, it will burst in an unexpected time, in an unexpected way. And it will boomerang on us in an adverse manner. So what we should do? We should express our emotion each and every time for the drop of the hat? No. We must be able to divert our emotions or dissolve our emotions then and there. And only spirituality can help this. If we suppress our emotions and if we divert it in another way by engaging in some other entertainment, when we come back to the same situation, it will boomerang on us and it will give more adverse effect. Just like how it gave bad effect for Arjuna. He was a person who took a lot of effort for this war. At one time, Lord Krishna says him as Gudakesha. Gudakesha means a person who won over sleep. That is, he has done so much tapa to get the divine weapons. So forgetting all that at the this 11th hour, he forgot all that and he went into a mentally depressed state. This situation may come to all of us at one time or other, and I am sure we all would have experienced it. So improve our mental strength. Lord Krishna is giving light and making us clear what person we really are. So that's the greatness of our Jagat Guru Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna splits our personality, that is the human being, into Atma and Anatma. Atma is that infinite pure consciousness, and Anatma is that cosmic energy, that is the mixture of all these components. And mind also comes into Anatma because mind is also inert. We feel that mind is intelligent. No, it borrows energy from the infinite consciousness or the Atma or Brahman, and that's why the mind is so intelligent. Or otherwise, the mind is only a group of inert impressions. So he splits the personality into Atma and Anatma. All the beings in this world are the combination of Atma and Anatma. But only the human mind is so subtle, and the human beings have that power to realize it. So that's the greatness of the human birth. And being a human being, it's our duty to know this truth. This chapter, you can say it as the essence of Bhagavad Gita. It has many pravochaka vachanas. It has Atma Vidya as the central theme. And it also tells about the Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Sannyasa Yoga. You can say that the entire Bhagavad, rest of that, all this chapter after this, or the explanation of this chapter. It's so deep. This philosophy said by Lord Krishna in this chapter is so profound. Some of these verses in this chapter are so deep. The acharyas and teachers, they take 1 or 2 hours to explain a single verse. So all that happens in the live classes. So now let us start with this second chapter. Sanjaya uvacha tam tatha kripaya vishtam ashrupurna kulekshanam vishidantamidam vakyam uvacha madhusudhana. So Sanjaya says to the king Dhritarashtra, Arjuna, with so much of overcome with pity, and in that weakness of mind, his eyes was filled with tears. Ashru Purna collection, his eyes were so filled with tears, and Kripaya with pity, not with fear or anything, but with pity, seeing his teachers Dronacharya and Bhishmacharya, his eyes was filled with tears, and he sat down. To that Arjuna, with a pleasing smile, the Jagat Guru, Lord Krishna, says, So this is the first verse in the second chapter of the words of Lord Krishna. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Kudastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samubasthitam Anarya Jushtamaswargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna. To that Arjuna, Lord Krishna says, Kudasva, from where? Kashmalamidam. Just this distress, this low feeling of your mind. Where did it come from? Vishame, impurities, and this low feeling of mind, taking pity of your enemies. They are not for dharma, even though they are your teachers and he's your Bhishmacharya, great grandfather. How did you get this feeling? Samavastitam, where did it come from? And this feeling, what you have now is anaryam. Arya means that noble person whose mind is always in a elevated state, whatever situation it may be. He's that noble person who can control the senses. That's why if we read the Mahabharata and all that, if you see the ancient pictures, dramatic way, they say Aryaputra, that is the son of a noble person, the son of a person who can control the senses. So Arya is that person who is very noble, knows to control his senses. But what you're doing is Anarya, not that noble. Ajushtam, unworthy. Ajushtam, unworthy. Aswargyam, and heavenly. The gods or the people of the higher birth, they don't act like this. Aswargyam and akirtikaram. It does not bring grace for you. It brings only disgrace. It is disgraceful thing. So where did you get this feeling which brings all these results? That's what Lord Krishna says to Arjuna. And he also says, Klaibyam masmaghama partha naitatvayuvapatyade kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktotishta parantapa. That is the second part of the verse we have to keep in our mind always, because it is so helpful in when we go through difficult situations. Klaibyam means you are mentally weak but physically strong. That weak-minded person, mostly it indicates the tamoguna. Klaibyam, a person may be very mentally weak, just listen to everyone, get emotional at each and everything, whatever emotion it may be, not able to control his senses. That is Klaibyam. Masmaghama, that is, do not get this feeling. Nai tatvai upapatyade. Na yedat tvayi upapatyade. Upapatyade means fitting. This feeling of yours is not fitting for you. Shudram hridaya daurbalyam. Hridaya daurbalyam means the weakness of the mind. This low feeling, Shudram, this low feeling that I cannot do it, they are there, I cannot do it, I cannot come up to the situation. These are all the feeling of low mentality. That Shudram Hridaya Daurbalyam, it is the weakness of the mind. Tyaktvo, just ignore it. Tyaktva, just ignore it. Uttishta Parantaba, just get up, Arjuna. Parantaba means a person who wins over the enemies. So you are such a person. Because of this weakness of mind, you're waiting from the war, just to throw everything, this mean feeling in your heart and get up. So this is a very important verse. That is the verse 3 of chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. For this, again, Arjuna answers. Arjuna uvacha katham bhishmamaham sankhe Dronam cha madhusudana ishubhi pradigyotsami pujarhavadi sudhana. Arisudhana means destroyer of the enemies. That is, Arjuna addresses Lord Krishna with this name, Arisudhana. How? Kadam. Bhishmam and Dronam in this Sankhya. That is, in this group, I see Dronacharya and Bhishmacharya, my teachers who taught me how to fight. They are there. Madhusudana. Madhu means he was an asura, and Lord Krishna killed him, and so he is known as the Madhusudana. The Madhu is the name of the asura. So how can even after seeing Dronacharya and Bhishmacharya, how can I do this, Krishna? Pratiyogya means fight against. How can I fight against all these men when I see them in this group? Again, Arjuna expresses his inability to fight. He was overcome by pity. गुरुन हत्वा हि महानुभावान् श्रेयो भोक्तुं वैक्ष्यमपीह लोके हत्वार्थकामास्तु गुरुनिहैव भुञ्जीय भोगान् रुधिरप्रदिग्धान्. So here the meter changes in Bhagavad Gita, apart from that Anushtup Chandaha. This also Arjuna expresses his mind. Guruna hatva hi mahanubhavam. Killing my guru. Hatva, killing my guru, who is a noble soul. Mahanubhava is a great noble soul. Shreyo bhoktum vaikshama pihalohe. What is better than killing my guru is just going into the world and beg for my food. Bhikshu means beggar, alms. I will better go into the world and get alms and live with that. Hatvartha kamastu guru nihaiva. Killing my guru, desirous of the wealth and kingdom. Bhunjiya bhogan rudira pradigdhan. Enjoying, after killing my guru, enjoying everything, it will be stained with the blood of my guru. Rudira pradigdhan. It will be stained with blood. So Lord Krishna hears all this very pleasantly. Oh, Arjuna again, his mind is so deluded. I don't want to kill my guru, and with the stain of blood of my guru, I don't want to enjoy any wealth. I don't want this. That's what Arjuna says. न चैतद्विद्म कतरुन्नो घरीयः यद्वा जयेम यदि वा नो जयेयुः यानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषामः तेव स्थिता प्रमुखे धार्तराष्ट्राः. A very nice conclusion at this period of time in the middle of the war. What Arjuna says is, I do not know what is good or what is bad. Whether I should go and conquer them and whether they should come and conquer me, I do not know which is better. A very beautiful state of mind at this middle of the war field. Which one is better? Gariya. I do not know which one is better. Yadva jayema yadiva no jayeyuhu. Whether I should conquer them or they should conquer me, I do not know which one is better. Arjuna says this, that is his present state of mind. Again he says, Karpanya dosho bahadat swabhavaha pruchami tvam dharma samudha chetaha. Yachreyasyannishidam bruhi tanme sishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. Now this is the surrendering verse of Arjuna. He understands his weakness and he knows what he do not know. That is the first sign of being a student. One should know what we do not know. What if we understand what we do not know, we can approach the appropriate teacher for that. But the problem is many people is they think they know everything. That's Maya. But the Sikshastvam is we must be able to understand what we do not know. It also need a great mind, a humbleness, everything. Only then we will know what we do not know. So he says, Karpanya dosho bhagat swabhavaha. I am now completely weak, just like a handicapped weakness. I am overpowered by pity, and it's a handicap for me. Pruchami tvam dharma samudha chedaha. And I ask you, with this confusion of mind, what duty to do? Yet Shreya, which one is better? Sa nichidam bruhitanme. So, decisively, very clearly, tell me which one is better. Shadi mam tvam prabannam. I take refuge in you and teach me. Shadi mam, teach me. I take refuge in you. Prabannam, I take refuge in you. Shishyas te aham. I am your student. I am your student, and teach me what is better for me. I take refuge in you. And this is a very important verse as far as Arjuna is concerned. Many people think why Lord Krishna, he gave this teaching Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna alone. Why not to Yudhishthira? He's a Dharmaputra. He's so great in Dharma, following Dharma. And why not Bhima? He's filled with Dhamoguna, too much of strength and little mind work. Or why not Nakula Sahadeva? Or why not Karna? He's also a great soul and a great warrior. Why not to Duryodhana? Why not, okay, leave all of them. Why not to Vidura? Why didn't he give this advice to any of them? This verse clearly shows that only Arjuna asked. He asked him, which one is better? What is my duty at this time? I am overcome by all these emotions. So what should I do now? Even today, when with the purity of heart, with the purity of mind, if we demand like this, definitely we will get answer in one way or other. We get answer from that Atma, which some people may call it as Brahman, or some people may call it as God, Ishvara, whatever name you can give. It is that pure consciousness. It will always give its answer to the mind, but our mind will not be pure to receive that answer. So Arjuna had that pure state of mind, and only when Arjuna asked Lord Krishna, he starts to give this advice. And again he says, Nahi prapashyami mamanubhatyat yachchogamuchchoshanamindriyanam avabhya bhumava asapadnamruddham rajyam suranam api chadipadhyam. So he says that nothing else can, my worry in my mind is drying up my senses. It burns my senses. Even if I attain all the prosperity, avapya, even if I obtain the bhuma, that is the earth, or asapatnam. Asapatna means free of enemies. To no one to be against us, that free of enemies. Even if I get that state, Ruddham, that is prosperity, Rajyam, kingdom, Suranam cha Adhipatyam. Sura means the gods, that is Indra and all that gods. Suranam api, even if I Adhipatyam, even if I have the power to rule over the gods, even if I get all this, that will not stop from burning my mind by the senses. Even if I get all this, that will not erase my sorrow. It's just burning up my senses. Even if I get the lordship over the God, even if I get a life without any enemies, the Rajyam, the kingdom, or the prosperity, the peace of land, Hastinapura, whatever if I get, that will not remove the shoka from my heart or from my mind. So it's burning up my senses. Arjuna says that very clearly, he says that. Now Sanjaya says, Sanjaya uvacha evamuktva hrishikesham gudhakesha parantapa na yotsya yidi govindam uktva dushnim bhabhuvaha. Telling this to Hrishikesham, that is to Lord Krishna, Gudakesha Parandaba. Arjuna, that's why, as I said before, Gudakesha, he is the conqueror of sleep. That's another name for Arjuna. Having said this, he just sat down on the seat, just like before, I will not fight. He sat on the seat. Now starts the serious advice of Bhagavan Krishna. This sloka, that is the sloka or the mantra 11, is known as the Upakrama Shloka, because the advice of Bhagavad Gita really starts from here. From this 11th to 30th verse, it is pure Atma Vidya. That is, as I said before, is the cream of the Upanishads or the Vedas. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Ashochananvashocastvam Prajnavadamscha bhashase Gadasuna gadasumscha Nanu sochanti pandhitaha. Asochatan, for whom you need not be worried. Anvasocha, you are worrying. For whom you need not be worried, you are worrying for that. And you are grieving for it. Prajna Badamsha Bhashase. And you also, not only that, you also speak the words of wisdom. So, Bhashase, you are speaking the words of wisdom also. Gadasuna, that is, Gadasuna means from whom the prana has gone. That is, it is dead. Agadasumcha. Agada means from whom the prana has not gone, so the living. So you are worrying for that who need not be grieved for, and also you speak the words of wisdom. And the wise pandidaha, nana sochanti pandidaha. The wise people, they do not grieve for the living or for the dead. So that's the first advice Lord Krishna, Jagat Guru Lord Krishna gives to Arjuna. You are worrying, you are grieving for the poor people who need not be grieved for. And not only that, you speak the words of wisdom, and the people who are wise, they do not grieve for who are dead or who are living. They have the balanced state of mind. And the next verse, that is the 12th verse of chapter 2 says, Lord Krishna says, Na tvevaham jatu nasam, na tvam neme janadhipaha, na chaiva na bhavishyamaha, sarve vayamatha param. Na tvevaham, nor me, that is Lord Krishna says, Lord Krishna says about himself, nor me, tvam, not you, nor me, Krishna, I as Krishna, or nor you, Arjuna. Then Janadipaha, all these people around arrayed in front of you. Then Janadipaha, na chaivana bhavishyami, in future also, sarve vayamada param. Nor at any time I, you, or nor these people arrayed in front of you never cease to exist. This is the first verse Lord Krishna introduces the immortal soul. He is not telling about the body, physical body which we see. He is telling about the essence of that person, any person, the spirit of that person, if you want to tell it in English. But if to say in Sanskrit, he's telling about the Atma of the human being. Nor at any time I, you, or the people, Janadipaha, people arrayed there, never have ceased to exist, or they will not in future also, Bhavishyami, in future also they will not cease to exist. They are eternal. He's telling about the immortal soul, that is that Atma. In the 13th verse he says, देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारै यौवनञ्जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा. This body, it passes through the different stages. That is dehe, that is the kaumaram, that is the youth. Kaumaram is that childhood. Yauvanam is that youthful stage. Jara, old stage. The embodied soul, here he talks about the embodied soul, that is the jiva. The jiva, along with this body, it will not undergo any change. The jiva will not undergo any change. But along with the body, it passes into the youthful stage, the childhood stage. It passes through the childhood stage, the youthful stage, the old stage. Tada dehantara prapti dhiras tatra namuhyade. So it passes through these different stages, and attaining another body, it goes out of this old body. So what is that to worry for it? Are you worrying for this physical body? At any way it will disintegrate one day. So that is the embodied soul. He is taking dehina, that which is inside the deha. Because Atma is all pervading. It cannot move anywhere. It is all pervading. In Vedanta teachers and in Vedanta texts, when they write the bhashyas, they do not see the Atma or say the Atma as two. Because when you say two, you are including the number. They will say it is non-dual. That means infinite. So that is that Atma. It is all pervading. And that Atma is inside this body as an embodied soul. An embodied soul is the Jiva, as I explained in the beginning of the video. A Jiva is the combination of the mind and the Abhasa of the Chit. That is the reflection of the Chit, which is the basic thought of intelligence. So the mind plus Chitabhasa is the Jiva, and this jiva, it stays in this body and does expresses itself through the body. When the karmas of the causal body which is the karana for this sharira, when it exhausts its karma with this body, and when the jiva feels that this body cannot no longer do karma, express its sets of impressions, it will go out of this body and take another body according to its impressions. So that's the transmigration of soul. And that is very beautifully explained here in a very condensed, just like a sutra by Lord Krishna. Just as in this body, the embodied soul, it passes through the body, passes through the childhood, youth, and old age, and it passes to another body. So, what is there to grieve for it? Why are you grieving for them? And in the next, that is the 14th verse, Lord Krishna says, Matra sparshastu kaunteya Sidoshana Sukha Dukkadaha Agamaapayino Nityaha Tam Stidikshasva Bharata. Matras Pashastu Kaunteya. Kaunteya is the Kunti Putra. It's another name of Arjuna. Matra means senses. Only by the touch of the senses, when the senses touch the objects, we experience Sukha, Dukkha and Shidoshana. Shidoshana means hot and cold. We will not know it otherwise. When our senses are in us in the deep sleep, we will not know anything of it. Why, if we do not know whether we touch hot or thing, only when it goes to an extreme level we will be able to understand. But ordinary temperature we will not be able to understand when we are in deep sleep. That's when, because all the senses goes into the Karana Sharira. So we will not understand it. So like that he says, only by the touch of the senses with the objects we are able to experience the hot and cold. And Sukha Dukkha. In deep sleep, we do not have any Dukkha or Sukha. No. Dukkha means worry and Sukha means happiness. In deep sleep, we do not know. That's why when we are too much worried, we want to sleep, because at least at that gap, we take some rest. So that's it. Which all these experiences are with the senses, and the senses gives these experiences to the mind. Agama payino hanityaha tam stadikshasvaha. Agama payino, because it has a beginning and an end. All these emotions, we have a beginning and an end. And it is not nityam. In this moment, I would like to, I remember a story where I read somewhere. Once, in an ancient time, once a king went to a sage, and he asked the sage, I need some mantra so that I can overcome my worries in life. I have a lot of problems. Always the neighboring nations are coming to conquer our nation. So I have a lot of problem and tension. So I need a mantra so that I can come over it. I can repeat it and come over it. And the sage took a palm leaf and he impressed and he wrote something on the palm leaf and he gave to the king. And he said to the king, you should not open and read it now. When a situation comes where you cannot come out of your grief, overcome by so much of emotion, tension, that you feel so difficult to come out of that problem, then you must open this palm leaf and read it. Just like that, when you are in so much of happiness, a moment of happiness, when you are there, you must read this and come over it. Before that, you should not read it. So the king went back to his palace, and he was there. And then one fine day, the people, neighboring nation, they came. They have announced that war over this nation, and he was so much in a depressed state of mind. Not only that, even his family problems are there. He didn't know what to do. He didn't get a right prince so that he can hand over his problems. So he was in a very depressed state of mind. And he thought, I can read this palm leaf now. It is the perfect time. So he took the palm leaf and read it. And what was impressed there, what was written there was, this situation too will pass soon. That the sage didn't write it in English, but he wrote it in Sanskritam. This situation too will pass soon. Oh, he got sad. He was relieved. He was relieved from that tense state of mind, and he was so happy, and with so much of encouragement he went to the war, won the war, and he occupied the other nation also. He became the Raja of the next nation also. So he was so happy, and he got a right prince also. So happy. So at that time he thought it's the right moment to read the palm leaf, and he took the palm leaf and read it. What was written by the sage there? this situation too will pass soon. So he was so tensed. That's what Lord Krishna says here. Whatever situation it may be, it has a beginning and an end. The happiness as well as the worry. Nothing is permanent other than the Atma. That is very beautifully explained by Lord Krishna. The next verse, the 15th verse of the second chapter is Yam hi na vyatayat yethe purusham purushashabha samadukka sukham dhiram somrutatvaya kalpate. Vyatayant yethe. Don't be affected by it. Don't be affected by it. Purusham Purushashabha, because he calls Arjuna as the chief among men. Sama Dukkha Dhira, a person who is a dhira, that is a firm person, a person with a firm mind, he will see the dukkha and sukha evenly with the balanced state of mind, because he knows both this will pass away soon. So he is a person who is very firm, and that person amrudatvaya kalpade, he is fit to be go into immortality. He is a fit person to get liberation, a person who takes sukha and dukkha evenly. That person is fit to go for immortality. We ordinary people, we take, when something happiness come to us, we are just on cloud nine, and when someone insults us or some bad thing happen to us, we take that insult so close to the heart. The person would have insulted one time, but we think over it and insult ourselves the 1,000 times, and we become that. So we are always high in our emotions, positive and negative. So a person who is fit for immortality, he must have a balanced state of mind, because everything is only, it goes with the passing of time. That's what Lord Krishna says. And this is the end of the 15th verse. And I think it's the right time to stop in this and take a break after this. All the slokas are very profound. And with this, I conclude today in this chapter. And I will explain the rest of the verses. Let me see how far I can go in my next video. So let me conclude with this video, this portion, with the famous sloka from the last chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, last verse. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara Tatra Shri Vijayor Bhuti Druvani Tirmatirmama. The explanation of this verse is, wherever there is Krishna and wherever there is Arjuna, in that place there will be prosperity, victory, Vijaya, victory, Bhuti, happiness, Dhruva, firm mind, that is the balanced, strong-minded person, that person, Niti, there will not be adharma. That will be pure conviction. That is my conviction. This is said by Sanjaya. So Sanjaya, after completely telling the Bhagavad Gita, he says that. So with that, I conclude today's video. Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.